Hi, it's Karen with Living Our Dream Homestead. Today I'll be making stewed tomatoes and we'll be canning them. Well, first I went ahead and I've washed these tomatoes. That's the first thing you need to do. You can see the pot on the stove I have is boiling, and I'm going to go ahead and drop these tomatoes in here for about maybe a minute or two, and then I'm going to take them out and let them cool. This is so that the peel of the tomato will just slip off and we won't have to cut it all the way around with a knife. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this into my pot here. You could use tongs or you could slowly drop it in. See how many we can get in there. Okay, that's pretty much full. I'm just going to give this about a minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and take it out, and then I'm going to do it with the rest of them, and then I'll show you what to do next. All right, they're in the pot, they're boiling, and you could actually see this real big one right here to the right there. That's the peeling. So these are done and ready to come out. You can see where it's starting to crack around there. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully lift these out with the tongs. If I can get them out, slippery things. And you can see right there, most of the skin is coming off the tomato. And I will do that with the rest of those, and then I'll show you what to do next. Hi, we're back. And the tomatoes have been cooling about 15 minutes, so hopefully they'll be okay to the touch. You can see them right here. Skins are coming off. So I'm going to go ahead and right here, so it'll be a whole lot easier to get them off. They should, like I said, just peel right off like that. Makes the life a little bit easier. Trying to get all the skin off here. So it looks like it's all off there. Now we're going to go ahead and cut. We want to cut the core out. So we'll go ahead and cut around, try to cut as deep as possible to get that core out, because we don't want to have that in our stewed tomatoes. So here we go, here's the core. And then we go ahead and just slice in half like this, and then I'll go ahead and put it in the pot. If you like what we're seeing today, please hit the subscribe button down below. I'm going to go ahead and then put it in my pot over here. And I'm going to do this with the rest of the tomatoes. So again, I'm going to go ahead and take off the skin, and it just peels right off. I ended up boiling the tomatoes in there, I would say it was at least 3 or 4 minutes till I started to see the skins crack. Then I knew it was time to get them out of the pot. And then again, we cut out the core. And there we go. There's the core. We don't want that. And then we slice it in half. And then again, we'll put it in our pot, and I'll do that with the rest of them. And then I'll go ahead and show you what to do next. All right, I'm back. I went ahead and I got all the tomato skins off the tomatoes, and I've cut them all in half, and I've got them in the pot. Now, if you don't feel like there's a lot of juice in there, well, as you can see down there, there's a lot of juice from these tomatoes, so I won't have to add extra. But if you felt like your tomatoes didn't have a lot, you could go ahead and add some water. That is totally okay. I've got the heat on medium, and I'm going to go ahead and slowly cook this down a little bit, get it a little bit more kind of squishier, release some more of the juices. When I did cut up the tomatoes, if you saw any bad spots, just cut those off, because of course you don't want to have that in your cooked stewed tomatoes. It's like a tongue twister there. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this, and I'm going to check back here in about 15 minutes, and we're going to see what it looks like. Here's our tomato mixture here with the stewed tomatoes there. They've been cooking nicely. This is actually about 10 minutes. I like how you could still see somewhat of the tomato there a little bit, but I still will cook it a couple more minutes. Just to break that down a little bit more. And you can see definitely we got a whole lot more juice than we had before. We're back, and the tomatoes are all done. So I'm going to go ahead and ladle them into the jars. So I'm using pints today. I want to go ahead and try to fill it up to this bottom part right here of the jar. You don't want to go too high. So let's see if we can get a little bit more in there. Okay. Now, if you wanted to, you could add salt to it. And the salt would be half a teaspoon. That is optional. I'm not going to add it because when I put it to my Texas hash already has salt in the recipe, so I don't want to over salt it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in lemon juice, and it takes a tablespoon of lemon juice per pint. If you were doing a quart, it would be 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to go ahead and get that measured here. So there's a tablespoon. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of stir it up a little bit. You can use a spoon. I'm just going to use this knife that I had out. And then you're going to go ahead and take a lid, a canning seal here. And we'll go ahead and put that on. And then we'll go ahead and put the ring on. And I'll do it with the rest of them. And then I'll go ahead and put it in our pot. We're going to have to boil the stewed tomatoes for 40 minutes. If you did quarts, it would have to be 45. And then they would be done, and hopefully they should be sealed. All right, I've got all the tomatoes in the pints. As you can see, I have it not quite high. It's close. Maybe like a medium high. You definitely want the water boiling. And again, I'm going to go ahead and put on the lid, and we are going to boil this for 40 minutes. And then we'll come back and check to see if they are sealed. Well, I'm back. The tomatoes are all done. I did have just these 2 seal after the 40 minutes. These 2 had not. So I had to take off the rings and the seal, and I had to wipe down all around the jar, because when it's boiling, sometimes it can come up over the jar, which then that's why it wouldn't seal. So I went ahead and did these 2 an extra 10 minutes. And then when I took them out, they were totally sealed. So this should last on your shelf at least a year. Can last longer. And it is perfect for that Texas hash recipe. If you like what you saw today, please hit the like button down below. This was Karen with Living Our Dream Homestead. I hope you have a good day.